Hello, I'm Dr. Andrew Allen from Georgia College and State University, and that was the Lyrical etude for baritone saxophone for the concert band. So the first thing that you see on this etude is the indication andante cantabile. Andante is the tempo, which we also have in numbers right beside, but cantabile is very important. It literally means singingly. So you need to approach this etude as if you were a great singer. All of the phrases need to be long, it needs to be beautiful, elegant, and you also need to think about some vibrato. So if you're not comfortable with vibrato or you don't know what I'm talking about, scroll down through the description of this video and you'll see a link to another video that'll teach you all about vibrato. So the trill in the first bar and the sixth bars are a little tricky, but with a little bit of know-how, those are going to be a lot easier. So first bar, second beat, the trill on the B. Trills always go up to the next note in the key, unless you see otherwise. And there's a nice handy little fingering for that. So if you look at your side keys in your right hand, this middle side key, if you add that to your B key, you will get a C. That's a great trill fingering. Just play B, trill back and forth on that middle side key, and you get a B. And then when you go to the A sharp grace note, use your side A sharp, which you play an A in your left hand, and use the lowest side key in your right hand. For measure 6, the other trill, that one, you use something a little special. You go back to that side A sharp, so play 1, 2 octave key in your left hand, and the bottom side key in your right hand. You're going to hold that fingering and just trill your second finger. You don't move anything else. You don't move the side key, nothing else. And that's going to be your trill from the A sharp to the B, and then it's relatively easy to make the jump to the graces after that. Finally, in measure 7, you've got a lot of leaps, and you've got some octave leaps. So in that case, it is acceptable to use a very light tongue to help separate some of those downward leaps. I would recommend just using a D tongue and work really hard to try to make that sound like the slurs around it. But that little bit of definition is really going to help you rather than trying to do those without any kind of tongue. So that's something to work on this. Now, listen as I perform the technical etude. That was the technical etude for baritone saxophone for concert band auditions. This etude is a great opportunity to start talking about the different kinds of B-flat fingerings. So we really have 2 that we use all the time, and 1 and 1 B-flat is not one of them. If that is your standard B-flat, please set that aside for a long time. That will be useful in about 3 or 4 circumstances when you're playing really, really super advanced repertoire. But there are 2 of them. There's the bis B-flat, which is a B, and you just, with the same finger, hit the tiny little key underneath the B. That is a bis B-flat. And then we have a side B-flat, which is 1, 2, and the lowest side key. But wait, Dr. Allen, that was a side A sharp. Yep, same thing, right? So this etude gives you different opportunities to use both of those. So I would use the bis, which is, again, the B key, and with the same finger, that little key right underneath the B key. I'd use that in measures 3 and 4, and I'd use that side B-flat fingering everywhere else in the etude. Now, graces. They should never be accented, and they always come before the beat and accentuate the note after the grace, right? They are not the show, they're pointing to something else. Listen to how I perform those. I'm not accenting them, they're drawing attention to the note after the grace. In measure 4, we have a trill. Listen to how I did it, but make sure that you're trilling until you get to beat 2. Then hold the F momentarily, move on to the graces before the and. Measure 10 and 12, similarly, you're going to trill until the and of beat 3, and then you're going to hold the G just for a moment before those graces. Finally, the staccatos at the end, make sure that you're holding a consistent airstream through that. Don't try to do the staccatos with your air. Have a consistent stream of air and just use a T articulation to separate those. That's going to help you achieve a really nice separated staccato without getting too many things involved and overcomplicating the process. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you have a great time as you progress as a musician, as a saxophonist through this process. And if you have any other questions along the way, I hope that you'll reach out. Best of luck, and until we meet, happy practicing.